So according to Scripture, a person is a Jew whether both his parents are Jewish, just his father, or just his mother. But what if a person's genealogy is a little more complicated than that? What if only one or two of your grandparents are Jewish? Or maybe you have just a single Jewish great-grandparent or a great-great-grandparent. Are you still a Jew? Well, according to Scripture, I can say with certainty that anyone who has at least one Jewish grandparent is biblically considered a Jew. Let's take a look again at that passage from Matthew, which is in the genealogy of Yeshua. It says, Salmon, the father of Boaz, by Rahab, and Boaz, the father of Obed, by Ruth, and Obed, the father of Jesse, and Jesse, the father of David, the king. So Rahab and Ruth are both notable Gentile women from Israel's history, featured prominently in the genealogy of Yeshua. Their presence here means that we have 2 generations in a row where Jewish men have not married Jewish wives. And yet, their descendants include not only David, the quintessential king of Judah, but Yeshua the Messiah, both of whom are undeniably Jews. So let's break this down to see how it works. Now, Salmon is, of course, Jewish, and he marries Rahab, a Gentile, from whom is born Boaz. This gives Boaz one Jewish parent, making Boaz Jewish. Boaz then marries Ruth, also a Gentile, from whom is born Obed. This also gives Obed one Jewish parent, Boaz, although genetically speaking, Boaz is half Jewish, which makes Obed genetically a quarter Jewish. So when we look then at Obed's grandparents, we see Salmon and Rahab on Boaz's side, a Jew and a Gentile, and 2 more Gentile grandparents on Ruth's side. This means that Obed has only one Jewish grandparent, though Obed is still considered Jewish given his progeny. Obed then presumably marries a Jewish wife, such that his son Jesse now has Boaz and Ruth as his grandparents on Obed's side, and 2 Jewish grandparents on the other side, giving Jesse now 3 Jewish grandparents, though technically Jesse is about 63% genetically Jewish. The pattern repeats again, where Jesse marries a Jewish wife, from whom is born David, increasing David's Jewish ethnicity to approximately 81%. Theoretically, it would then take 7 generations from Obed of only Jewish marriage to produce children who are 99% genetically Jewish. So the long and the short of this is that according to the Bible, 2 consecutive generations of Jews can withstand intermarriage, and the children and grandchildren will continue to be considered Jews. Based on this scripture in Matthew, as long as you have at least one Jewish grandparent, you're definitely still a Jew. The question then is, what happens if there are more than 2 consecutive generations of intermarriage? What if you only have a single long-lost Jewish relative? Or if you get a Jewish hit on your DNA test? Or if you have an oral family history of hidden Jewish ancestry? Does any of that make you Jewish? Well, the scriptures don't directly answer that. Probably because Jews marrying Gentiles isn't supposed to be the norm. This is especially true given the Torah's prohibition in Deuteronomy 7:3 against intermarriage with those outside of Israel, yet making an exception for intermarriage within Israel for someone who's a sojourner, as in the case of Ruth. So while I can be 1,000% sure that having at least one Jewish grandparent makes you Jewish, we simply don't have that same level of certainty where it comes to a long line of intermarriage, or just having a distant Jewish relative or a family tradition of lost Jewishness. And this is a huge problem, specifically for Messianic Jews who marry Christians. And I say this as one myself, because within just a few generations, we face the very real possibility that our great-grandchildren, through continued generations of intermarriage, might no longer be considered Jewish, neither in the eyes of the Bible nor in the eyes of God. And the problem is that if God has salvation plans for the world that require the persistence of a recognizable remnant of Messianic Jews, which he does, then we need to continue to be not only Messianic, but ethnically, biologically, and biblically Jewish. Because just as much as the Jewish Messiah, the eternal King of Israel, needed to retain his Jewish bloodline in order to qualify as Messiah, so do Messianic Jews of today need to retain theirs.